Good morning, everybody. Yes, I'm a few seconds late. I had a line this morning. It's absolutely sheeting it down here. And we have two streams today. Let me go onto my other screen. We are going to do Quid Games tonight, 7 p.m., 8 hours from now. We're going to give 3 people Mew. Now, times are hard. Times are tough. And we have kept the prize pool in dollars. Now, Mew, Bitcoin, everything is down. Therefore, you are likely to win a reasonable number of Mew tonight. And if you hold on to it, when the good times come back, as I've said to you before, you hold on to these coins and they are likely to go back up a little bit. So if you win $20, $30 tonight, that could be $50, $60 in 3 or 4 months' time. Now, a big shout out to Mags. Mags has got a gold circle next to him. So I think Mags has become a VIP member. And that would make sense because he told me something in Telegram yesterday that didn't make any sense to me. So if you've upgraded Mags, thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts. We made a video yesterday, which I called Civil War, and it was about the Strategic Crypto Reserve. I'm going to bring it down and I'm going to re-upload it because it didn't trip the notification system. So nobody knows that I've made that video. I think it's had 19 views in, I don't know, 24 hours. So I'm going to take that down and upload it again today. Please watch that. It's a good video, especially for Jan, who is a new viewer who I know through my wife. It explains a little bit about what coins you should be buying. And if you're new to crypto, and I'm going to talk about this in a second, if you're new to crypto, you need to be very careful. And the Strategic Reserve, which is what America is going to be buying for its reserve, so it has oil, it has gold, it has sugar, it has wheat, it has all of those things in its reserve. It's going to start buying different cryptos. And I've made a video about it called Civil War, because many people believe it should just be Bitcoin. And in my heart of hearts, I agree, it should just be Bitcoin. But it isn't. And we have to live with that. The same way that if the person that wins the election, it's called democracy. You don't always get what you want in life. I'm getting my top of my head trimmed off there. So the second thing is, there was a streamer yesterday who had this portfolio of longs and shorts and whatever it was. And at one point it was $50,000. And yesterday morning, I think it was $10,500 or $11,000. And the streamer was in tears. Now, I tell you as much as I can not to use leverage. Don't use leverage. What that means is putting $50 on a 10x for Bitcoin to go up from here today, or a 10x on Bitcoin to go down from here today, and you'll have a liquidation point. So if you bet against the house and you think it's going to go up and we drop to 82,000 today, you're going to lose all of your $50. And people who play with fire get burnt. If you want to do leverage on the exchanges, you will see these coins called 3L and 5L and 3S and 5S. And they are leverage coins that you can buy, that no matter really what the price does, you don't lose all of your money. But obviously, if you get a 5L and it goes up 1%, you're going to gain 5% and vice versa. If you're going to do any of that stuff, you do it through those coins if you don't know what you're doing, okay? Of course, there are circus acts where people play with fire and they throw flaming torches around and they jump through flaming hoops and they don't burn themselves. But remember, they've burnt themselves 1,000 times in the past to be able to do that hoop today. You probably haven't burnt yourself enough to be able to get through that hoop. So be very careful. I don't like seeing anybody in tears. And this guy was young, probably in his early 20s. He's probably going to be very rich in about a year's time. But to see somebody in tears streaming is not nice. And if you're at the point where you're waking up in the morning with an aching feeling in the pit of your stomach, it's either new to you and you've not been through it before, the same way that you go on the roller coaster for the first time, you don't know what to expect, or you've used leverage. Either option means you're too involved too deep in crypto. You have to take the good times with the bad times. And in crypto, 90% of the time, it's bad times because we're going down or we're going sideways. We very rarely go up. You've got to get your head around that. I think we worked out that in 8 years, Bitcoin had gone up 8 weeks or 12 weeks or something similar, something like that. So most of the time, Bitcoin is coming down, and that is not a good way to live. You should accept the way that crypto works because it's really, really volatile. And if you're overexposed and you're using leverage and you just got wrecked in the last week, stop doing it for a while. Wait for everything to blow over. We've got Trump in power. Whatever comes out of his mouth is likely to cause a market reaction to the up or the downside, which you don't expect. Look at Sunday, look at Monday, okay? Now we've heard that the tariffs are likely to be cancelled today. You can't you can't leverage play against the President of America. You can't bet against Trump. There we go. That's enough of that. Right then. Good morning, KB. Good morning, Jan. Good morning, Velvet Rope. Who else is here? Mags, of course, is here. Hidden is here. Kishan is here. Hidden Agendas is here. Good morning to you all. I suppose we should probably get on with the show, shouldn't we? So we're back tonight with our live interactive quiz. If you've never played that before, you need to be at a computer. Or actually, I think it might work on the mobile phone. It's interactive because we're going to give you questions about Mu. And every question is going to get 3 options, 1, 2, or 3. Is Mu, which you can see on the screen there, that little red square, is it a cat, a dog, or a mouse? If you think it's a cat, you type number 1 into chat, and that will register your answer. And then over a period of about 8 or 10 questions, we'll get a leaderboard. And at the top of that leaderboard will probably be KB. But we're going to find a way of handicapping him today. So that's tonight in about 8 hours from now. It's going to be fun. It's not meant to be super competitive. It's not a trading competition. You're not going to win $20,000. You might win $20 or $30. That's it. But it's still a bit of fun. And we talk about Mu and meme coins and the things that have been absolutely trashed in the last couple of months. Where are we then? We are still under 3 trillion. Recency bias will also get you wrecked. Bitcoin is coming in at a healthy $88,500. Why is it healthy? Because we came down. I believe we wicked to 81,000, something like 81,000, whatever. If we put in a lower low, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. If the tariffs don't get, or if the sanctions are removed today, brilliant. We have a big Friday, which I'm going to talk to you about in a minute. But sticking with this, Ethereum has had a pretty good rally in the last 24 hours as well. XRP, again, it's at $2.50. You know when your little kid runs off in the park and it plays and then it falls off the swing? What does it always do? It comes back to safety. It comes back to its mum or its dad. There are prices that these coins hang around, okay? $2.50 for XRP. Cardano, 80 cents, okay? I know Ethereum went back down below $2,000 yesterday. It could even, if we have another turn for the worse, go to $1,900 or $1,700 if we have another turn for the worse. But again, it's come back to $2,200, $2,150, $2,250. It's come back to safety. BNB, again, $600. We talk about these numbers all the time. Solana, back above the 132 that we said. I mean, we don't pick these prices out of thin air. We look at the charts pretty much every day, and those prices stick in your head. And then what will happen? In 3 months' time, we will see a market shift, and we might be talking about a different price of safety. Maybe $3.50 for XRP, maybe 98,000 for Bitcoin, maybe 2,500 for Ethereum. So we always talk about different levels, different prices, different levels of support as we go along. Now we're going to see some gainers today. Aave is up. Aave is changing the way it works. Aave is, I believe they've got a vote to change the way the DAO works, the way the fees work. So there's a lot going on there. Jito is back up. Remember, Jito was down heavily yesterday and Monday. That's got to recover. Cardano is recovering. Chainlink is recovering. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. Hyperliquid is still hanging around. Bearer. Ondo is up back over $1. Remember, with Ondo, anything under $1 is a bargain. That's what we always say on this channel. Right, Sonic is making all the news under Andre Cronje. They've got a novel way of doing market fees. They've got a novel way of generating fees for the dApps. It's got a novel way of rewarding the dApps and the users. It's looking like it could be the next run. What I mean by that is the next coin that's going to go on a run and be overhyped and go above what it should be valued at. But I'm keeping an eye on it, and I'm going to keep mentioning it. I haven't done a dive on it. I haven't made a video on it. Talking of videos, I mentioned to, or one of the OGs asked me about, Ondo. I made a video about it 3 weeks ago, which I sent to you. But I didn't include in that video, I didn't include the list of exchanges where you can buy Ondo. And I'm not going to show you that right now, but I will message you about that. It's very, very easy to go and buy Ondo. Pi is there. Please don't touch that. I don't trust it. I don't trust the market cap. I don't trust anything about that token. I think it's an absolute sham, but I can't prove it. Athena is up. Lido is up. Lots of gainers. Remember, Lido pretty much is attached to the price of Ethereum. Losers. Look at that. It's a green day. Celestia is trash. 2 years ago, we looked at Celestia, still didn't understand how it was at $20. Traded it going up, traded it coming down, was buying it at, I think, $12 or $14, selling it at $19. I did that 3 or 4 times. It was a hype coin. It was based on airdrop farming. People had to buy Celestia and stake it to get the airdrops. The airdrops came. What did they do with their Celestia? They sold it. It will have its time again, yes. Okay, of course it will. But will it ever go back to $20? I don't know. So pretty much the markets are in good shape. And unfortunately for you and for me, we have absolutely struggled to find things to talk about today. Let's go down here. Good morning, Bullish Bull. Sonic, currently farming for the airdrop in June. Yeah, good idea. That's what I would do. Lutnick states that Trump may reserve the tariffs on Canada and Mexico starting tomorrow. I want to talk a little bit about this because most people out there just listen to the mainstream media. And that's fine because you've got a TV and you get a newspaper or whatever it might be. The mainstream media has gone from, I wouldn't say telling the truth to lying, that's not fair. They've gone to extremes to sell newspapers and sell articles. And we've become a society of clickbait. And one of the things that you'll be reading about Trump is that he's doing this and he's going to destroy America, or he's going to destroy Canada, or he's going to destroy Mexico. I've read 10, 20 pages of his book. I think it's called The Art of the Deal. He wrote it a while ago. Now, Trump makes deals. You'll hear it in his terminology. He'll make a deal with the Ukraine. He'll make a deal with Canada and Mexico in the EU. He wants to make a deal on crypto. Everything is about a deal. And in his head, that is an agreement. Okay? And you're being told that he is trying to destroy economies, destroy the world, leave NATO, destroy everything. And that's not what he's doing. He is calling people out to their faces, as you've seen this last weekend, whether you agree with it or not. And I'm not saying either way. What I'm telling you is he is forcing a trade deal with Mexico. He's forcing a trade deal with lots of other people. There was, and I can't mention the word, G. And Donald Trump came out and said that he wanted to turn this place, where terrible things have happened, he wanted to turn it into a resort. He was never going to turn it into a resort. That was never on the cards. And what was announced yesterday by the Arab Council was they were going to invest $60 billion into rebuilding G. Okay? He forced their hand. He forces people's hands to their faces because that's not how politics has worked in the last 20 or 30 years. If you go back 40 years, 30 years, that's how politics was. And we've come to a point with politics, and I don't want to go off on a rant about this, where people talk through sound bites, and it's infantile, and it's dumbing down people who should be the brightest people and the best people for the job. We have somebody called Rachel Reeves in charge of the Chancellor of the Exchequer in the UK. She's in charge of the economy. She's utterly useless. Now, I would say that whether she was on either side of the party, left or right. She's utterly useless. She's incompetent. Why does she have a job? Why did she get to that stage? Okay. But I have no say over that because it's a democracy. That's the point. But you're seeing her being absolutely hounded by the press, the same press that were praising her 6 months ago. Clickbaits, they go after people with either praise or with criticism. And Trump is the same. He doesn't care what people think of him, and that's the difference. He doesn't care. He wants the deals. And for our industry, we had the Musk effect, which I talked about on Monday as well. Every time Elon Musk talked about crypto, it went up. And then after about 3 months, it had no effect. Trump's going to go through the same phase where Trump will mention crypto. It will go up 5 or 10%. But then 3 months down the line, he'll mention Bitcoin and it might not even move. Even though he's the president of America, it's desensitizing crypto to Trump. That's what it is. Is that coming up now? I think so. Right then. More attendees. So on Friday, there is March the 7th. Friday is the day where there is the first ever crypto summit at the White House. It's a big day. Probably the biggest day in the history of crypto until the next FOMC meeting. And some of these people have already announced that they're going. And they are, I'm not going to go through them all. Michael Saylor will be there, as you would expect. Exodus will be there. Paradigm will be there. And this chap will be there, David Bailey. But there are others that are going to be there. Now, Sergey Nazarov is going to be there. Now, if you'd have bought my portfolio that I made in January 2023, apart from maybe Polygon, you'd be absolutely laughing. Chainlink is Sergey Nazarov's project. He's going to be one of the 25. There are a couple of exchange CEOs going to be there, which I'm not going to mention. But we know Cardano are going to be there. We know XRP are going to be there. We know Chainlink are going to be there. And we know Saylor will be representing Bitcoin. Okay? So we do know the rough theme of the show. And when it was announced that those 5 coins were going to be in the strategic reserve, we knew pretty much from that which 5 were going to be going to the summit. The next question, which I've made, like I said, I made a video yesterday about the strategic reserve. That's video number 1. I'm making 2 videos on it. Video number 2 is going to be my predictions for the other tokens that are going to be in the strategic reserve. Okay, now I'm going to give you 2 to start with. Okay, that I'm going to give you a heads up. Ondo are going to be in the strategic reserve. Chainlink are going to be in the strategic reserve. I can guarantee that now. I don't even need to see who else is going. But I know that they're going to be there. Why do I know that? Because Ondo is being bought up by World Liberty Financials. Again, I made a video about that and I told you to go and bookmark their portfolio. The World Liberty Financials portfolio is what is going to be in the strategic reserve, plus a couple of other coins like Tron and Solana. Ethereum-based projects are going to be in the strategic reserve. Mark my words. It is the big boy play. Ethereum is the big boy. The grown-ups play with Ethereum, okay? And the kids play with Solana. That's just how it is. The degens, not the kids. The degens play on Solana. So all of those coins are going to be in a strategic reserve. All of those coins have pretty much cemented their place in the future of crypto in America. It's a positive thing. Robinhood are going to be there as well, and a few exchanges, as I've said. Now, Nayib Bukele is the funniest man alive. He's got an IMF loan. So they've given him, I don't know, 50 or 100 or 200 million dollars. On the proviso that he doesn't buy any more Bitcoin. He got the loan and then bought 5 more Bitcoin, and then yesterday bought another Bitcoin. Okay? This guy doesn't care. And I find it absolutely hilarious that he is using the IMF funds to dollar cost average into Bitcoin when they specifically told him he can't buy Bitcoin. The guy's a genius. I mean, okay, maybe on a certain number of rights and things, but either way. Now then, more breaking news. And for once, we have something to talk about that isn't to do with the strategic reserve. Now, most of you that have been following me or me and the Oracle for the last 2 years, actually it's probably longer than that now, probably 2.5 years, will know that we have been telling you to hold on to Jupiter because you get all kinds of rewards and staking and everything else like that. Yesterday, it was announced that the LFG, was it called the LFG? I think it was called LFG, is being replaced by this cat pad. Now, I don't like cats. I'm a dog person, okay? I've got a little French bulldog, a little chihuahua. That's totally irrelevant to the conversation, but I'm not a fan of cats. However, in this instance, it's a digital cat. I'm happy with that. This is going to replace the LFG. Now, they haven't told you in here, and I'm going to tell you now. One thing I think Jupiter and WolfSwap should do, because WolfSwap are also an aggregator on multiple chains. If you want to launch a token and you want to decentralize that token, you give it away to communities, because you don't want to have centralized amounts of your token. You want it to be decentralized, maybe 20,000 holders. How do you do that? If you airdrop on Solana, it's super expensive. So you find a partner, and that partner so far has been Jupiter. And DeBridge has done its airdrop through Jupiter. Zeus, which is the Solana Bitcoin, synthetic Bitcoin on Solana, they have also used Jupiter. Now, the way I think this is going to work, and the way that I would love WolfSwap to work, is if you hold Moon or if you hold Jupe and you have them staked, you are able to go to the website and claim every token that wants to launch on the CatPad. So, in English, free tokens. The majority of them are going to be worthless, but some of them are not. And if you have $5 staked, you'll be lucky if you get 5 or 10 cents an airdrop out of it. Okay? If you've got $1,000 staked, you might be claiming $10, $20, $15 per airdrop. Well, if you do that 2 or 3 times a month and you're earning, let's say, $40 a month out of it, well, that's $480 a year on top of your $1,000 a year. You're getting 48% return. Now, I can't guarantee that's going to happen, but that's the way I think it's going to happen, because the launch pad that they had was full of friction. It was taking forever. You had to vote. It went through the vote. Then the airdrop was announced and you didn't know how many tokens you were going to get. And it was lovely at the time. But now we're in a different age. Just make it smoother. You want a list. You want to distribute your tokens. That's the path you take. You then click, claim the tokens. You've got a 7-day, 14-day window to claim your tokens. That's how I think it's going to work. Make sure, if you don't know anything about Jupiter, or even WolfSwap for that matter, you go and look at them. Aggregators, for me, are the best way to buy on a DEX. Okay, centralized exchanges, you buy it on the exchange you're on, of course. But if you're on a DEX and you've got money in a Phantom wallet, you use a DEX because it'll give you the best price. It will look at Orca, it will look at Radium, it will look at Meteora, and it will give you the best price. That's it. And then they take a bit of a cut off the top. Right, BlackRock issues a Bitcoin supply shock warning saying there's not enough coins for US millionaires. Again, Larry Fink came out and said probably the dumbest thing ever to come out of an intelligent person's mouth. When the price goes down, buy it when it goes low. Okay. I mean, I don't know who he was talking to, but that seems to be the way that you do it for everything, don't you? You buy things in the January sales. You buy Easter eggs after Easter. You buy Christmas chocolate in January. It's what you do. When the demand isn't there and everything comes down, you buy. When Bitcoin comes down in price, you should buy more. Very simply put. But it was a dumb thing to say. I've really no idea why he said it like that, because it was the least insightful thing he could have said. So, Michael Gates and Brett Wager detail how Bitcoin is inelastic to demand like gold. I don't know why it is asking me if I want to lose weight. I certainly do not. Thank you very much. As many of you know, was predicted issuance schedule of all new Bitcoin until 2140 with a pre-programmed max supply of 21 million tokens. You all know about this. There are currently, is it 450 Bitcoin a day being mined? Remember the key here. Every single day that goes by where there are more than 450 Bitcoin being bought is a day where there is less and less Bitcoin on exchanges. At some point, there is going to be a supply shock. What is a supply shock? Think toilet rolls during COVID. Simple. We had no toilet rolls because everybody bought toilet rolls for some crazy reason. Okay? That's a supply shock. When everybody buys, when everybody buys and there's not enough being produced. Very simply put. Namely, to potentially serve as a novel store of value and global monetary alternative, hedge to US dollar hegemony and political instability, and preoccupy. God, what? It's just words coming out of his mouth. These features help provide unique and additive sources of risk and diversification to traditional multi-asset portfolios. This man, I mean, you've got at one end Larry Fink, price low buy, okay, and at the other end you've got a man that's just throwing in words to make himself sound clever. Basically, what he's saying here is Bitcoin has a fixed supply. More of that is being bought than is being produced. It is supposed to be an inflation hedge, but it is also supposed to be a safe haven if money markets have problems. And it came out of the 2008 financial crisis. That's why Bitcoin was born. It came out of that. And in the very first, I don't know if it was in the Genesis block, there is an article from the Guardian in the UK talking about how banks need to be bailed out because they run off fractional reserves. And for those of you that don't know what that means, it means for every £100 or dollars that you think you have in the bank, they maybe have $1 and the other $99 are loaned out. And they have creative accountancy to make it look like they all have billions and billions of dollars. But when you pop one balloon, they all pop. And that's what happened in 2008. And certain people, Warren Buffett, for example, made an absolute killing out of it. Some banks went bust. People lost their jobs, but nobody went to prison. Ask yourself why. Right then, we're not going to look at the Bitcoin chart today because I imagine the Oracle is going to want to look at it tonight. I don't know if we'll do many charts today. Maybe we'll have a look at a few. We did charts on Monday. I don't want to bore everybody to death with charts every day. Right, let me have a check. I like cat women. Do you know what? You know what? I'm going to tell you something, and this is going off on a massive tangent. Do you know who one of my first ever crushes was? Cheetara. I know it's making a comeback. Thundercats is making a comeback. I don't know who's going to play who, but Cheetara was one of my crushes, and she was a cartoon cheetah. Anyway, I'm a dog person. Ethereum crashes below $2,000 for the first time since the 2023 bear market. Again, everything I told you before about Ethereum and Ondo and World Liberty Finance and BlackRock, that is, in my opinion, solid. Now, why is the price dropping? People have lost faith in Ethereum. People compound the fact, there was a $1.4 billion hack. That was 450,000 Ethereum stolen. I don't know what it was, something like that. There's that to take into account. There's lots of mitigating reasons why Ethereum has come down. And I don't want to go on about it again, but I lay the blame solely at Vitalik's feet on this. If he was a more suitable character to lead Ethereum, then I don't think we'd be in this situation. Why are we not hearing anything about Ethereum and the strategic reserve? We've heard from pretty much everybody in the top 10 of any note, apart from Ethereum. Okay? If you don't have eyes on your project, if you don't have noise, good noise about your project, you're just going to slip away. So we did fall very briefly below $2,000, and I nearly dropped my phone when I saw that, and I told the Oracle, do you know we've just broken $2,000 on Ethereum? To which he raised an eyebrow in true James Bond fashion and said, interesting. And then it obviously went straight back up as soon as they realized that the Oracle wasn't happy with the price. So we came down, touched $2,000. It's taken an absolute pounding, okay? And it needs a recovery. It needs a Lazarus moment. And at this moment in time, I'm going to be honest, I don't see where that's coming from, okay? We've got projects that run off Ethereum going on Friday to meet the President of America. As far as I can see, we haven't got anybody from Ethereum going. What is going on? What is going on? Okay. ETH open interest falls to last November's levels. Remember, everything was bullish in December. The ETF inflows, the interest, everything was bullish on Ethereum in December. And since then, it's literally wet the bed. And it hasn't got out the bed either. It's still in the bed in its own soggy place. Now, this is probably the one thing that I want to draw your attention to. Q1, quarter one and quarter two of each year, Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin. Q3 and Q4, Bitcoin traditionally outperforms Ethereum. We are in the third month of Q1 and Ethereum is still underperforming Bitcoin. Now, until we get to the end of March and then the end of June, I am not going to say that that's broken, but it's looking very, very much like it's broken, okay? Ethereum is just not performing. And we need sentiment to come back to Ethereum. That's what we need. And we haven't got it right now. And if there's no sentiment, there's no sentiment. But I will say what I said before. World Liberty Financials are buying Ethereum-based products. They are buying Ethereum, wrapped Bitcoin. They're going to have Ondo. Ondo is Ethereum-based. And it's now spreading its wings, yes. There's going to be other projects on there. Chainlink, for example, which is multi-chain, yes, but Chainlink is going to be in the fray. So even with traditional finance using Ethereum, it doesn't seem to be enough to make Ethereum go up. Now, maybe when Bitcoin breaks down, the Bitcoin dominance breaks down, maybe we're going to see a God candle. We saw a $10,000 candle on Bitcoin on Sunday. It wouldn't take much. It would take a $500, $600 candle on Ethereum to really kick it off. And that can happen. And I know a lot of you out there are absolutely shook to the core. Your order for your Lambo has been paused. I get that. But it's because of all the noise and everybody telling you the bull run is over. Everybody telling you that crypto sucks. We're going to have the first crypto summit. The money printer hasn't been turned on. Interest rates haven't come down. There is an opinion that Donald Trump is trying to actually shake the entire money market, the entire stock market, to force Chairman Powell's hand. That is the rumor. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but that's what Trump would do. And if he's going to do that, we're going to see interest rates come down and we're going to see the money printer come on. We've done all of this rise to $106,000 with QT, quantitative tightening. We need the money printer to come back on. And again, that's another bit of wind in the sail of crypto. And of course, don't forget we need the DXY to crash as well. And he's trying to do that as well. So there's lots of things going on in the background which just haven't come to fruition. Anyway, I think Ethereum is... I'm not going to say it's manipulated, because that's what every single streamer out there is going to say. And loads of people say those things because they don't know what to say. I just think there's a collection of circumstances which are causing Bitcoin to still lead the way. Bitcoin is still number one. And until Bitcoin dominance breaks down, nothing is going to happen. No alt season. I said this yesterday as well. I'm very hesitant to make videos about projects that I still think could lose another 10 or 20%. And that's why I've done the strategic reserve video, because I don't expect them to lose 20%. I expect most of those coins to hold their value, or at least move up. But I don't want to go out and make a video about Pyth, or make a video about Dupe, or make a video about anything else, because until we see Bitcoin start to move back up, everything's going to bleed against Bitcoin. Right then, how plausible is Solana's $1,000 price target? Let me remind you that according to CryptoZaros and George, he said it himself, we were going to have a $1,000 Solana last December. Now, as far as I can see, George, we didn't. And my price target of $300 was also out, but nowhere near as much as you, my friend. So $1,000 price target for Solana. This is the absolute peak for me for Solana. My video, which I made, I don't know, 6 months ago, I think I said $600 without an ETF. That's the top. We've not got an ETF. I know we've got the applications. I know we've got futures. We don't have the ETF. And when we get the ETF, the price is going to go down, because of the buy the rumor, sell the news, and Grayscale are going to dump all of their Solana on the market. So the price is going to come down. The timing of this ETF, I said if we got it in March, February, March, April, it would give it enough time for the Grayscale dip and then recovery. If we don't get this ETF until October, which I think is on the cards, we're not going to see $1,000 Solana. I think we might see a $600 Solana, which is a 4x from here, by the way, and a massive move considering what we've come down from. But we also got to remember that the all-time high of Solana that we put in this year, I think it was this year or end of last year, was nearly $300. So again, I don't think we're being unrealistic asking for a $600 Solana. But $1,000 Solana is going to need an ETF, and it's going to need the American government to buy a lot to get it up there. And again, it's not going to stay there forever. It's going to come back down. Right then, Solana leads DEX volume, 700 million in bridged assets, 430 flowing from Ethereum. NFT adoption surges, 146,000 users. Again, we know all about this. This is all news. We know that Solana is taking over a lot of the metrics of Ethereum. But remember this, the reason Ethereum led in pretty much everything was it was the only blockchain. It was the only blockchain that had liquidity. So if you're an NFT project 4 years ago, 5 years ago, where do you go? Ethereum. If you're a DeFi project, where do you go? Ethereum. If you're a meme coin, where do you go? Ethereum. Gaming, Ethereum. Now we have more choice. We have more chains that do more things. So what Ethereum is doing is it's like the breakdown of the British Empire, okay? Ethereum was the empire where the sun never set. And now Ethereum has to focus on what it's good at, which is the core DeFi products, the liquidity. That's what it's good at. The smart contracts, the fact that it's got 5 times the amount of stable coins on Ethereum than anywhere else. So Ethereum is now way head and shoulders above everybody else for the metrics where Ethereum is strong. And all of the fluff that it didn't need to do has gone to a chain which is quicker, cheaper, more degen-y, I suppose, and that's Solana. So of course Solana was going to take over NFTs and meme coins. That was the point, because Solana is retail, Ethereum is finance. So of course we're going to see Solana rip through, but don't think for 1 minute that in the next 5 or 6 years Solana can't lose some of its market share to other chains either. Maybe Cardano, maybe it becomes an amalgamation between Cardano, XRP, Solana. Remember, we talk about interoperability. You're going to get to the point where you don't know what chain you're on, and that's where we want to be. So it's in a good position, but it's just head and shoulders above everybody else for so many different metrics. And you'll hear people talk about, oh, well, there's faster chains. Yeah, but they don't process any transactions. You could have a bullet train that goes between Inverness and Brechin, and it might do 600 miles an hour for the 5 people and the 1 dog that get on that train. Okay? Solana is like going from LA to New York on a shuttle. They're packed, they're frequent, and they're cheap. Okay? That's what Solana is. It's a shuttle service, and it's bloody good at it. And yes, it goes down, but it hasn't been down for over a year. But the question is, are we going to see a $1,000 Solana? Again, there's no point in bringing up these charts. Everybody knows. $1,099 as bullish momentum. That's a really, really high. I mean, look at where we are. I think that's going to be tough. I think if I was you today, I would buy Solana at these prices, expecting a $500 Solana. Okay? If your expectations are where these people set them, you're going to fall into the ET syndrome, which I made a video about. I think I've only made that for OGs, actually. What's the ET syndrome? Elliot, the little boy with his bag of M&Ms, is your favourite shillfluencer. The favourite person you want. Crypto Banter, George, I don't know who else, Altcoin Daily. And they're giving you prices. $300, $400, $1,000, $1,500. And your little ET, you're going along and you're just eating this up. You're eating this up without thinking of what's going to go on. And then the bag's empty and Elliot's in the house and he's closed his door on you. Or you're in the cupboard, okay? You've still got all of that Solana and it's falling in price. Their bag of M&Ms is their bag of Solana and they're selling to you. You are their exit liquidity. Don't fall into these price targets because you're going to end up next year, this time next year, if the bull run finishes in November, you're going to end up sitting on 5, 10, 15, 20 Solana, 1 or 2 Ethereum, I don't know, 10,000 Cardano, right? You're going to sit there and you're going to be going, but you told me it was going to be a $15 Cardano. You told me it was going to be a $1,500 Solana. And George can't hear you over the sound of his Bugatti engines, okay? Altcoin Daily can't hear you because they're at 30,000 feet in their private jet flying to their private island, okay? These targets are dangerous to you because they are unrealistic, okay? You see the picture of the model, go to Turkey and get your teeth done. 500 quid, come back looking like Katie Price. You get on the plane, you go over there, you end up coming back looking like Donald Duck, right? You've got big lips and you've got teeth that are too big for your mouth, okay? Expectation and reality in crypto are more separated than in most other things in life. So don't aim for these targets. If we go to $1,000, it is an incredible, incredible performance by Solana. But where does the money come from to get us to $1,000? Where does the inflow come from? Does it come from the ETFs? Because it hasn't done too well for Ethereum because Grayscale dumped on it. Didn't do too well for Bitcoin because Grayscale dumped on it. So can you see the pattern here? Grayscale will dump their Solana, and it will dump their Solana because their fees are higher than everybody else. So people will sell because they don't want to pay those fees. And then some people will buy back in through BlackRock and other people won't. I think we have less than 1% chance of hitting $1,000. I think we have a 50 to 60% chance of getting to $500 or $600. Okay? So be careful with these targets. They're going to get you wrecked, and you are, as I said, the worst feeling in the world is sitting here next April and you've still got your entire portfolio, and every day for the next 18 months the price comes down with a few odd wicks to the upside, and your $3 ADA or your $2.50 ADA is now 170, 150, 130, 110, 90 cents, 80 cents. It's gonna absolutely rip your soul out, because you're gonna look at the all-time high and say, I should have sold at that. But no one's gonna be perfect. You sell on the way up. You've got about 8 weeks to get out. XRP could drop to $1.50 if this happens. Again, these news articles, 1 minute are telling you we're going to $1,000 Solana, next minute we're going to drop to $1.50. Well, $1.50 XRP would be a good price to get it at. I don't know if we're going to see it, but it would be a good price to get it at. Crypto analyst, who's this? Cassie Trades revealed that the XRP price could drop to as low as $1.50 if it fails to hold 242. Well, it did hold above 242. I think it's now at, what, 250. We've done quite well. So he believes, or she believes, that we're going to come down to 150. What needs to happen if we break? In the X post, revealed the XRP price could drop to 150 if it fails to break and hold above 242. This came as she noted that XRP is attempting to reclaim the consolidation pattern it broke down from. Again, one thing to add to all of this confusion is that the Crypto Summit is an external event to the markets. So you cannot possibly predict a chart for XRP or Cardano or Solana or Ethereum or Bitcoin. You can't use a chart solely off the charts without looking at the news. You can't do things in isolation. If Donald Trump comes out today and says, we've had an absolutely amazing meeting, tomorrow we're going to start buying $1 million a day of XRP, do you know what that's going to do to the price of XRP? It's going to absolutely skyrocket, because everybody knows that the American government are going to buy $1 million worth of XRP every day for the next 4 years. So the price is going to go up. It's hard to it's hard to bet in this market, which is why leverage is such a bad play at the minute. It's hard to bet in this market when you've got Donald Trump. And don't think for 1 minute that Kamala Harris was going to have us sitting at a $250,000 Bitcoin. Okay? I've seen those memes. That ain't going to happen. Okay? She was more than likely going to ban crypto. Litecoin fails to break key resistance level again. Can bulls hold range lows? That is a coin that hasn't been mentioned with regards to the Crypto Summit, but it is going to get an ETF, and it is going to get a good price movement. Okay, I don't think it's going to go super high. I think $300 would be an incredible achievement for Litecoin in this market, and I think we're at 140 now. So again, I'm not expecting it to absolutely rip the roof off, but look at where it came from. What was it, $40 or $50? It's had a good bull run. Okay, it's dropped as the market has dropped, plunging from 130 to 100 in a matter of hours. Are we down as that low on Litecoin? Has it got a picture of the chart here? There we go. I didn't know it was as low as that. Well, 140 was where I remember looking at it last. And I think $100 for Litecoin. If we're going to go to $300, $250, it's fine. Again, don't worry about that. I'm just worried about time, because I've waffled an awful lot today, and I don't want to waffle too much. So basically, I think $100 is a good price for Litecoin. If it goes to $95 and $90, buy a bit more. Again, not financial advice. I don't own any Litecoin. I owned Litecoin. I mined Litecoin. I mined a block. I did all of that 6 years ago, maybe even 7 years ago. It was a long time ago. I had a Litecoin, I had an Antminer mining Litecoin, all set up in the office. It sounded like I had a small passenger jet in my server room in my office. And it was running there for, I don't know how long I ran it for, maybe 2 years I ran it for, mining Litecoin and Bitcoin, stuff like that. It was good. So, USDC, I better keep an eye on what is happening in chat. let's have a look. The question is, where will Bitcoin go in the bear market if there is Bitcoin to buy? I suppose it depends on where Bitcoin will be at the end of the year. Final answer or counter answer? Come on, tell us what you think. Okay, so traditionally, and I don't want to divert again, traditionally, Bitcoin comes down after a bull run. It comes down to its previous all-time high or thereabouts. So where did we go in the bear market in 2023? We went to what, $16,000, $17,000 or something like that. And that was a brutal bear market fed by lots and lots of things. Was it 2022? 2023? Anyway, whichever one it was. I think it was 2023. So we came down. What was the previous all-time high in the last cycle? It was $18,000. So we came down to where we were in the last one. And I think if you go back again, I think we did the same thing in the previous cycle. So that would indicate to me that in this bear market, or in the next bear market, we will come down to about $70,000. Now, I've said on here as well, if we break below $70,000 now, in this dip that we've just had, and we stay there, then we've gone back into the bear market because we're now below the previous all-time high. But we haven't really got anywhere near it. We got to 79,000. But there are many, 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 many mitigating factors into why it might not happen again, why this might be the last great bull run. As Bitcoin gets a bigger and bigger market cap, it's harder and harder and harder for it to move price. But conversely to that, the less Bitcoin that there is in supply, it is likely to make it also more volatile. So you have yin and yang going on. Less Bitcoin, more volatility, bigger market cap, less volatility. So you have these two fighting factors. Now, I think $70,000 will be the bottom of the next bear market if we see it. And this, as I said, maybe we shallow out and maybe we don't anymore. And maybe 90,000 or 85,000 becomes the bottom in the next bear market. But we are going to have a bear market because it's cyclical. The stock market is cyclical. The way money works is cyclical. So we are going to have a bear market. I don't know how strong or how weak the bear market is going to be, but we are going to have one. And rule of thumb is it comes and touches the previous all-time high, so 70,000. Now you work it forward. If we have, let's say we get to 150,000 in this bull run, okay? That's almost a 10x from the low. Bear that in mind. When you measure the performance of Bitcoin, you measure it from the low, not the previous all-time high. So that would be a 10x, which is an incredible return. Now, let's say we go to 150,000. We then go through the bear market. We go to 80,000, and then we run up. Let's say we run up to 250,000. That 250,000 in the next bear market, it would bottom at 150,000. That's how it plays, or it has played. And again, I'm very dubious to say that that's going to happen again, because we've got game theory going on, and maybe in about 2 years' time, we're going to have countries owning Bitcoin. And if you look at gold, even though gold moves, it doesn't move very much. And I think over time, as Michael Saylor has said, the return on Bitcoin is likely to fall to between 8 and 11% a year. If that's the case, then we're not going to see too many more deep corrective bear markets, or for that matter, massive blow-off tops either. So the $1 million target for Bitcoin is a long way away. $500,000 target for Bitcoin is a lot closer. And it will be the demand of the nation states and companies that will drive us there, not necessarily the cycle anymore. So that's a long answer, hopefully, to the question, and hopefully you understand where it is in my head. US dollars become first dollar pegged stablecoin approved in Japan. Again, Japan is trying to be the metaverse center of the universe. Their finance minister came out a couple of years ago and said they want Japan to be at the forefront. If they're going to be at the forefront, you're going to need to have a currency that the world uses. and that won't be yen. It will be the dollar, okay? So this is just another move to allow Japan to move into what they're trying to do. So we spoke before about Ethereum being the finance center of the blockchain, of Web3. Japan wants to become the metaverse center of the blockchain. And to do that, they need liquidity and they need dollars. And it's very simply put. We don't need to read more about that than is necessary. So Allaire, or Allaire as he was called, is very happy about this, as you would expect. SBI is allowing for USDC. Now, the other thing about this is, of course, Japan has 0 interest rates. And they buy American debt or American gilts. You'll see all these stories as well about Japan having 255% debt, and it's on its backside. 90% of Japan's debt is owed to itself. Ignore it. There are bigger countries with far worse problems than Japan. Japan has a different model that works for them. If they allow for USDC, that allows for people to buy USDC and earn a yield. So when BlackRock come along and Ondo come along and offer you 4.5% to 5% on your US dollar, you are suddenly making big returns on your money. And you don't have to go through the convoluted system of buying American gilts and going through brokers. You can do it through Web3. So again, it's going to be good for the Japanese consumer. It's going to be good for Japan. And of course, it's good for America, which is what Donald Trump will want. And then the last thing of the day, as we come in at 11:57, we've managed to do it again today without a chart. Not looked at a chart all day, and we've still managed to do the show. Let's have a look at this. Are we going to have a traditional bear market? I don't think so. No, I agree with you. I don't think we're going to have a traditional bear market at all. I think it's going to shallow out. There's a graph that you can draw that at the beginning it kind of goes like this, like a heartbeat, and then as it goes up, it becomes less and less. If you look at the Tesla, if you look at Tesla's stock share, you'll see, and you go back to when it first started, you will see 35% ups, 25% downs, 40% up, 30% down. It was mental, absolutely mental on Tesla. Well, Tesla was an emerging stock, an emerging share in an emerging company, and now you're still seeing 2, 3, 4, 5% moves every day. It's not every day, but occasionally every week. And I think you'll get that with Bitcoin. I just don't see us having these massive dips. If we go to 70,000, if you sell your Bitcoin for 140,000, let's say you've got 2 and you get 280,000, and we do go to 70,000 in the bull run, you know what you need to do? You need to buy 4 Bitcoin. That's what you need to do. And then you've turned your 2 Bitcoin into your 4 Bitcoin. But I don't think we're going to go that low. And if you do, you've got to remember that that 4 Bitcoin that you had for $280,000 is now 4, and that is likely to go somewhere near $1 million. So that would be my play for the next bull run, is to sell everything into fiat, sit on it, maybe use Ondo, Maple Finance as well. They've got a Syrup USDC, which pays about 12%. So again, that's what I would be looking for about 12 to 18 months, and then buy back into Bitcoin. And then you'll see what other markets are maturing at the time. So President Lukashenko nailed it in one. Tells the new energy minister to develop crypto mining. There he is. Look at that. Do you know what? And I'm not meaning to offend anybody here. This is not the point of what I'm about to say. But they look like 1980s British detectives. Okay? So if you bring up any 1980s British detective TV series, they will all have a slightly balding head, slightly greyish hair, but a beautiful, thick black moustache. Okay? And they're likely to be Scottish. And they're likely to be called MacTaggart or something like that. He'll turn up He'll have his cigar or his cigarette in his hand. He'll look at the body. He'll exhale and he'll say, it was the caretaker. And then go and arrest the caretaker. And it's just like Scooby-Doo with real people. And he just looks like one. And I can't say fairer than that. So then, Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko has instructed the country's energy minister to develop the cryptocurrency mining industry in the country. He was speaking on March the 4th at the government meeting at which Alexei Koshnarenko was appointed to the top energy position. We have an excess of electricity, let them make cryptocurrency and so on. Again, I love people like this. Okay, I love people that have no idea and they just say things. Go and make me the crypto. Good. Go and make the crypto because it secures the blockchain. That's what we want. Maybe we should do it ourselves. Again, I'm totally all for this. The thing about crypto is it gets a bad press. It's bad for the environment. It's going to kill all of the different power grids around the world. But there are countries that make more electricity than they use. The same with flaring on refineries. That flaring can be connected up, turned into energy and used to make Bitcoin. Geothermal can be used to make Bitcoin. So what it does is it maximizes the return on the energy produced. So if Belarusia, if they only use 70% of their electricity, that 30% is going where? You can't store it indefinitely. If they use that 30% to produce Bitcoin and they're producing, I don't know, $100,000 a day worth of Bitcoin, that adds up over time. It adds up over time. There's more than one way to dollar cost average into Bitcoin, for example. You've got the likes of Bhutan, you've got the likes of El Salvador that are buying Bitcoin. El Salvador is going to have a geothermal crypto mining. I don't know if they're doing it through Riot or something like that. They're going to try and tap into that. Why shouldn't these countries use their excess electricity to make Bitcoin? Because it makes profit. And if Bitcoin isn't the most profitable, and it happens to be Litecoin or what's the other one called? Casper. Is it Casper? If it's one of them, let them mine that. It's, the point of Bitcoin is, the Maxis are like, we don't want the government to own Bitcoin. We don't want this person to own Bitcoin. Have you listened to yourself? Bitcoin is meant to be uncensorable. The point of Bitcoin is anybody should be able to buy or mine it, whether it be a country, an individual, a company. They should all be allowed it. That's the point of it. You can't suddenly put in stipulations and say, well, Bitcoin is for everybody except countries. Bitcoin is for everybody apart from Trump. It's not the point. I know you don't want it to be that way, but Bitcoin is for everybody. You can't say that about any other cryptocurrency. Every other cryptocurrency in the world is corruptible. Every single one. Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, XRP, they are all corruptible except for Bitcoin. That is why you will hear people say it's the only true cryptocurrency. And I would wholeheartedly agree with that statement. I have the world champion testing the world rally car in my village. I have to go and right, go and enjoy that. Have fun. Pi. I can't stand Pi. I think it's a scam, but I haven't got any proof. If it looks like a fish, if it smells like a fish, if it flaps like a fish, it's likely to be a fish. Okay? You have people, prominent CEOs of exchanges coming out and saying, why is my head so far off the bottom of the screen? I had a lovely Indian gentleman message me once and tell me that I looked like I was sinking, and that really tickled me because apparently I streamed like this one day and that really made me laugh. Anyway, I forgot what I was talking about then. I think that's the end of the stream. Right, so this is tonight in 7 hours' time. My fingers disappear. 7 hours from now, we've got Quid Game. What is Quid Game? Very quickly, it's very simple to explain. We go through Mu, the cryptocurrency, and we talk about what they've been up to. We look at the charts, we look at the project, we look at meme coins in general, I'm going to give you a big long speech about 2025 meme coins being dead, 2024, 2023 fine, 2025 dead, absolutely. Then at the end, we have an 8 to 10 question quiz about Mew. If you want to win, you need to listen to all of the clues we give you in the stream. And at the end, we're going to ask you some simple questions. What is Mew? Number 1, cat. Number 2, dog. Number 3, mouse. You would then, in chat, type 1. That would give you the correct answer. Big English head, exactly. Big English head. Do you know what? Right, I'm going to tell you a story. Every optician I've ever been to has told me I have got a big head. If you see my head, and I'm 6'3", if you see my head in proportion to the rest of my body, I have a big head. Now think about that. I'm 6'3", and I have a huge head. The Oracle is 6'5", and he is in proportion. I just have a giant cranium. I have no idea what is in my head that manages to make it so big. I mean, it's so big that it's actually pushing the hair out of the top of my head. That's how big my head is. Anyway, it is 12:06. Mags, thank you. KB, thank you. Solo Sky, I think it's a scam. Just because I think it's a scam doesn't mean it is a scam, by the way. But I wouldn't be buying Pi. I would be selling it, or I'd farm it and sell it. But I wouldn't be buying into Pi. Do you remember WorldCoin? I told you it was trash. And I think I told you it was trash at $3, and I said sell it. $3 or $4 and sell it. I think it capped out at $5. I think it's about $1 now. They are not projects I consider to be solid blockchain projects. And I could be proven wrong. Phantom, I said, was dead. Then Crongy came along, rescued Phantom, changed the name to Sonic, made it all cool, hip and trendy, and now I think it could be the one to watch. My next trip will be to Gibraltar, and I will meet you in person. That would be amazing, Mags. That would be amazing. We've got an office, so we've got somewhere we can meet up. We can take you to the pub. We can buy you a pint of Guinness. And the Oracle, of course, will be there. And if anybody ever wants to come over and see us, just let us know, and we'll meet up with you. Anyway, I'm going to go and prepare for tonight. Also, one other thing I forgot to mention. You'll notice in the bottom left-hand corner, we've got some question marks, because we have an announcement to make tonight. I'm not going to tell you what it is until tonight. Anyway, thank you, everybody. See you all tonight. Remember, if you're not going to be able to make it tonight, I'm not going to stream tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm making videos, but Friday, I will be streaming. So this week, I will stream Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. And tonight, the Oracle will stream Monday and Friday. So we're still doing 6 streams. 7 streams this week. And it's trying to find a nice balance between videos and streams. Anyway, enough of that chat. See you all tonight, guys. Take care.